what's your name?
My name's Asher.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dustin Siggins, and I'm here with two members of the Dennis Kucinich campaign for president. I'm here with Asher. He's the regional director in the New England area, and his co-worker is
Tom Silverman.
Tom Silverman, who's going to be videotaping us today during a debate between myself, Dustin Siggins, the local conservative, and a member of the Dennis Kucinich campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Asher, would you like to talk a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Asher. I'm from Maine originally. I spent some time out in Cleveland working for Dennis Kucinich. I was a delegate for him in 2004. I enjoy snowboarding, long walks on the beach. I don't know. What do you want?
Well, let's start off with what are the top three reasons you support Dennis Kucinich for president?
Top three reasons. I would say number one would be because civil liberties, Bill of Rights and Constitution. We've had an assault on our Constitution over the past 8 years with the repeal of habeas corpus, with the repeal of certain sections of our Bill of Rights. Not exactly a repeal directly through an amendment process, but through unconstitutional laws like the USA Patriot Act and the Victory Acts 1 and 2 and so on and so forth.
The Victory Acts?
Victory Act. I'm not sure if those actually passed, but they would also... what those were is like, they were part of the recertification of the USA Patriot Act,
gotcha.
and they went to further
Sure.
make us less free.
Sure.
Number two is just... Dennis Kucinich isn't just against the Iraq War, he's against the use of war as an instrument of foreign policy.
Nope.
And I don't know if you've seen the movie Why We Fight. It's a documentary.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a documentary about the military-industrial complex and how corporations and military contractors, which make their money by going to war, they've pretty much run amok. Dick Cheney, our vice president, is a former military contractor. It's that we've elected a military contractor to the vice presidency sounds like Indonesia or some other third world country, but it's America, and it's legal. It's rather interesting. And then number three, I would have to say, well, there's two reasons in number three that have equal weight for me. One is the environment, and two, I was actually going to support Ron Paul, but then he gave this speak at Google, and he was talking about how environmental regulation doesn't really work and blah, blah, blah. And I looked at, on Google Maps, I looked at the state of Maine, which has very excellent environmental regulation and has had since the 60s. And it's lots of pristine wildlife, lots of managed forests, which, supports lots of wildlife. And then what he was talking about was Houston, which developed without any environmental or planning regulation, zoning regulation. And Houston's a mess. It's a concrete, it's a cesspool, really. And just the difference between those two areas really struck me, and I decided to go ahead and support. I was supporting both of them, but decided to go 100% for Dennis Kucinich at that point, because environmental regulation does work. It keeps people healthy, keeps our environment healthy. And the other reason is universal not-for-profit health care, which the other Democrats want to subsidize the private insurers. And I don't know if you've seen the movie Sicko by Michael Moore.
I don't usually watch Michael Moore.
Oh, well, that's too bad. I myself am open to seeing documentaries from many different perspectives, because just like, I like to take in as much information as possible. But Michael Moore's film Sicko talks about the... It's not actually about those who are uninsured. It's actually about those who are insured and who aren't actually covered, because, a for-profit insurance company doesn't make money by paying out health insurance. It makes money by not providing health care.
Oh, sure.
So my problem is the other Democrats, and I'm not to attack I don't know exactly what your candidate. I know you're backing Tom Tancredo. The other Democrats, Hillary and Barack, and John Edwards, all of their plans are no different than Mitt Romney's plan, which is to subsidize the private insurance companies, which is like what the Bush administration is doing in Iraq with Halliburton. they want to do that with private insurance here in the United States, and I just think that's absolutely unacceptable.
Regarding the environment,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm a fan of saving the environment. I'm big into recycling and
Mm-hmm.
all the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Try to walk instead of using the shuttle. I try to carpool.
Yeah.
I think one of the big ways that we can reduce, first of all, our what did President Bush recently call it? Our addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the first one to realize it. And
Yeah, right.
and, the fact that we use a lot of foreign oil, and the fact that obviously this affects the environment, this affects international relations, this
Mhm.
affects our war.
Mhm.
Obviously, we're in Iraq right now and
Mhm.
Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of nuclear power plants.
Mm-hmm.
Huge fan of nuclear power plants, wind farms, etc. I don't know if you know about Cape Cod, the wind farm they put in there.
Oh, they did actually put it. I know that Kennedy had voted against it a while ago.
You know why he voted against it?
Because it was the NIMBYs, not in my backyard.
It's this big,
Yeah.
and it looks, on a really clear day, you might be able to see it,
Yeah.
and it might ruin the property value. So I love how Kennedy took him right to his morals.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is that I think nuclear power is a very effective way to have cleaner energy. Obviously, there's the waste, like the containers, but
Mhm.
have cleaner energy, more efficient energy, and it would allow us to get rid of our problems in the Middle East.
Well, that's interesting. Actually, if you look into nuclear power, it's a great short-term solution, but unfortunately it has long-lasting implications down the road. You have to deal with the waste, and it's not like, we think of when we're disposing of waste, we think, oh, we put it away and it goes away. But with nuclear waste, that actually stays radioactive. It stays a hazard, not for just a couple thousand years, chemical waste that we
Sure.
might store in tanks or whatever underground, but nuclear waste actually stays a potential environmental hazard for millions of years, and that we're talking like the period at which nuclear waste becomes safe to unearth again, or to have it be open again, is longer than any civilization that we've ever had on this planet. And to think that any nation that's around today, it's just hard to imagine that. I mean, just look at what happened in Yugoslavia, or with Rome was around for a very long time.
Sure.
Rome came and fell. I don't know that, is the United States going to be around to regulate and protect these waste areas for the next couple million years? It's hard to.
I mean, I talk to a lot of people, Democrats, conservatives, whatever, who support the use of nuclear power.
Mm-hmm.
And I have two
Oh,
questions.
I definitely support clean energy. And Dennis Kucinich's part of his energy policy is what's called the Works Green Administration, and he wants to retrofit every home and building in America to have its own solar array and own wind array. So instead of just wind farms, and instead of just solar farms, each building would be creating a certain portion of its own energy as well.
Is that cost effective?
Absolutely, it's cost effective. That also creates jobs, as you have to have people who are experts in this technology and also experts in the installation of this technology. So, it's the same way that we have people who install roofing and, install insulation, which is actually
Sure.
another part, is retrofitting homes with...
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
On the roofs, there's new technology out.
Well, we can use old technology too, just, allowing homes to be more energy efficient, and creating incentives for new buildings to be more efficient.
So what about